So, I just took my car for its first ever MOT, and it failed. It failed its MOT. It's an electric car, so there's very little to actually test on it from what I gather. There's just the very basic universal things. So, brakes, tire tread, just everything, the things that are in every car they test basically. All the stuff like engine parts and things obviously don't matter because it's a motor. You can't test a motor. The motor is just, it's sealed unit. It's a thing. It just exists. Either it works or it doesn't. And if it works, it's working fine. Go on, out of the way, Jesus. So I'm just leaving the dealership now. So I took it to the dealer because it's an electric car. I don't trust anybody else to look at an electric car. They're too new. They're not a thing that anybody can do. So, especially as the last garage that I went to for my last previous car, I blame them for destroying the car. In all honesty, but that's, you know, maybe unfair, but I'm confident about it. Anyway, I took it to the dealership and they failed it this time. By the way, apologies if I'm a bit washed out. For some reason, the top of this camera goes a bit bright. I wonder if it's just because, yeah, it's because it's in the window. I might have a look at a different position for this phone. If I record using this front camera lens like I'm doing right now. Anyway, whatever, I'm on a tangent here. The car is now 3 years old and it's due its first MOT. I bought it from that dealer a little less than a year ago, and now I've brought it back there for its MOT, and it's failed on the centre rear passenger seat, the passenger seat belt. So you can see it there in the middle actually, so coming down behind me. That comes out of the ceiling and then clips down to the centre and becomes a full 3-point seat belt, but in the centre of the car. And it's damaged. The seat belt has a big sort of fray in it. I mean, it's not massive, it's about maybe like sort of a centimetre or so, maybe even less than that actually, maybe about half centimetre, and it's frayed. And I said that is a safety hazard and it's an automatic fail for the car. And to replace that part is £280, and it needs to be ordered in from France, and it'll take more than a week to get there. Plus then of course I've got to arrange to get it fitted. My car MOT expires in 6 days, which of course is actually only 4 working days because tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow's Saturday, they don't count, so I've only got Monday to Thursday. And it's not going to arrive in time. So she said if a possibility what they can do is to replace it with one from a car they've already got. Like they'll take it out of a car and put it into this one, and then they'll order in the part for the replacement one, but then I'll pay for it as if it's a new one, which I'm not too happy about. Secondly, I'm not happy about paying for it at all. It's a part, I've never used it. I've never once even pulled that out. And when you put it back in where it came from, the fray, the damage is completely hidden. It goes inside the car. So it's obviously been damaged before I bought the car, and they didn't spot it, and now they've spotted it because it's its first MOT, and now apparently I've got to pay for it and replace it. So I'm really not happy with it. So I've said, can somebody sort this out? But all the managers are off, and nobody has the power to either A, authorise the fact that I wouldn't pay for it. And she said she doesn't know if they'll pay for it or not. I said, honestly, off the record, if I ask you, like, what do you think they'll say? She said she doesn't know. She said that if I'd asked her 3 months ago, then she could say there's a 95% chance there's no way they're going to pay for it. But managers have changed over, people have left, people have been hired. She doesn't know. She said it could go either way, so there's a chance. So I'm holding out for the chance that they might say they'll pay for it. However, there's no managers in store today, in the branch today, to authorise that, because it's a Friday. No manager works Friday except for fucking muggins here. They all arrive sort of midday Monday. There was also no other managers who not only couldn't authorise that it'd be free, but I even said, if I pay the £280 today, right now, can somebody just swap it now? Because I've only got 6 days till my MOT expires, then I'm driving the car illegally, I need to get this sorted. I offered to pay the £280 just even before like the debate, even without going through the possibility of saving £280. I said, can I just pay it now and somebody just swap it over? And she said the manager who would make that decision is also not in as well. There's like so many different managers who are the decision manager, and he's just not there. So she came out to the car with me. She gave me a key back. I said, look, I'll just come to the car with you actually, because I'd like to see what counts as a damaged seatbelt. And she pulled it down and says, well, I mean, it is frayed, but I wouldn't say dangerously so. I think it's clearly not been damaged in an accident, it's been damaged from wear and tear. And I was like, yeah, wear and tear. And I've never worn or torn it. It's literally, when you unclip it and put it away, the damage is hidden. And I've never once unclipped it. I don't, why would I? In my opinion, it looks like it's been frayed from being wrapped around a car seat, like a kid's seat, basically, a child seat. And the fact that there's like friction worn on the back of this left seat here would suggest to me that a kid could have sits in the back seat of this car before I bought it and has been kicking the back of the seat. Behind this one there's nothing, but behind that one there's a lot. So that to me is obvious, because I know I know in my heart of hearts I've never used that seatbelt. I have to try and prove that, to say that, look, this is not fair that I have to pay £280 for a part that I never used, never will use probably, and has been damaged by somebody else, and you just didn't spot it. Problem is, when they take the car back or before they resell it, it passes a test to say that everything's fine. So someone signed it off saying, yeah, it's fine, and now it's not. So I've got to argue the fact that it wasn't fine before I bought it, and I never knew. So at least now I know when I buy a car, I got to test all these things myself. So I haven't paid my MOT yet. My MOT itself was £45, and they've washed the outside of the car, but it's been pissing down in the rain all day, so honestly I'm not even sure they washed it. I think it's there rain, so who knows. But I haven't paid any money yet. She said I'm happy to delay payment until we get this resolved. She said I will find out what's happening on Monday, and I'm working night shifts from Sunday onwards next week. So I luckily I am in a position where I can actually not have to get time off work to come drop it off. But I would rather be asleep during the day when I'm on night shifts. But at least it's only a quick job. He said it'll take about 45 minutes to fit the part. So, I mean, that's not the end of the world. It takes like an hour and a half out of my day, and I can get back to sleep afterwards for a couple hours. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. But I really don't want to pay £280 for a broken part that was broken before I even got it. And then they didn't spot it before they took it back. Sold it to me. But whatever. It's 3 o'clock. Oh, also, sorry. Also, it took 7 hours. I've been in Chester, that's where the dealer was. I dropped off at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's now 2:45 in the afternoon. And they waited until literally like 10 minutes ago before I started this video to call me back saying it failed from the seatbelt. How does it take 7 hours to decide that everything's fine except for a seatbelt, which is a fail? I was like, 7 hours to do that for a thing that broke probably 2 years ago? Super salty. Anyway, at least I know the car is safe. At least it's passed the safety test for everything else. I know I'm not in any real danger. The seatbelt's not a risk for me. Literally, I've never used it in the last year. And even if I was having someone in the back, they'd use a normal seatbelt, because who sits in the middle, honestly, apart from child seats? At least I know I'm safe, and although in 7 days' time I won't legally be able to drive the car, technically I'm day off on... I'm working Thursday night, so I have to drive at home Friday morning, so that'll be a shame. But at least I know that although I may be illegal, at least I'm safe. Still legal right now. If I can get the manager on Monday to call me up and say, we're paying for it, we've got a part from another car, bring it in for an hour and we'll swap it out for you here and there, and you can just pay the £45 for your MOT and rain, and then we'll call it a day and we'll sign you off your MOT. That I'll be happy with. However, I feel more like it's going to be a case of, you need to pay £280 for your part, plus £45 for the MOT that you had, and then we need to do another MOT just to make sure that everything else is still okay in the 4 days you've had it now. So that's another £45. So I'm looking at probably going to be paying like £400. That's poor maths, but you get what I mean. Plus fitting, plus labour for fitting it. Whatever. I just needed to get that off it. I needed a rant. I needed to vocalise this to somebody. So I'll probably call my girlfriend up and rant about that in a minute as well. But she's a bit busy at the moment anyway, I think. So whatever. Obviously, if you've had any experience with this kind of thing, please do feel free to talk about it in the comments, because I'd like to know other people's horror stories. I mean, I've got some real horror stories about cars, but if you really fancy seeing some of those things, you can probably have a look through the really old vlogs on the other playlist on this channel, because I'm sure at some point back there it'll go to when I had a combustion engine car which was trashed. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.